Welcome to the Zaleski Sports Show. Today we'll be talking to you about the NFL, the Milwaukee Brewers, this week's high school live stream schedule, and another 3 to see. It's all yours, and it's all now. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski. Rachel's off in Milwaukee on assignment. We'll get back to the Brewers in just a minute. First, though, let's talk a little bit about the NFL. I know some of you are very frustrated, as am I, about new tackling rules in the NFL, and it turns out that you can tackle just about anybody, almost however you want, and that's changed a little bit, too, in recent years, except this year. Can't tackle the quarterback. Quarterback off limits. A lot of people said, may as well just put a flag on him, and I know most of the audience here, Packer fans, and you have a reason to be upset. Your guy, Clay Matthews, unnecessarily flagged twice, and in consecutive weeks, and both times, kind of pivotal moments of the game. So you got a lot of reasons to be upset there. I don't blame you one bit. Another reason Packer fans are upset right now, their team 1-1, and a strange record there, and the Bears, the Chicago Bears, are in first place in the NFC North. Hard to even understand and fathom what that is. Many other teams also snake bit so far this year on the quarterback tackling, not tackling rule. I know the competition committee is meeting. They're trying to figure out what to do. Obviously, they've went too far. I don't know if you can unwind it now. It's kind of like putting toothpaste back in the tube. I don't even know if that's possible, but they're going to have to figure out something. They're going to lose a lot of fans if they don't. In other news around the NFL, all kinds of things are all jumbled up right now. Yeah, the Lions beat the Patriots on Monday night. Yeah, the Buccaneers beating just about everybody until they ran into the Steelers on Monday night. And just upheaval all the way around in the NFL. We're 3 weeks in, and we still have no idea who's good, who's not, what's going on. It's going to take a lot of weeks this year to shake out all of that. Good news is, though, 13 weeks of football left, 14 counting the byes, but 13 games for every team still left on the slate. A lot of things to get figured out. Plenty of time, and hopefully for the NFL, plenty of time to get things figured out with their quarterback tackling problems. All right, moving on to the Milwaukee Brewers. Check this out. By the time this show airs, Wednesday at 5:30, the Milwaukee Brewers, who I had left for dead back in July, I called them frauds. I listed all their problems, and those problems were legit. But guess what, guys? They've cleaned them up. I predicted at the very start of the season, 86 wins. They're at 91. So I've been wrong just about the whole way through. But you got to admit, think back to July. The Milwaukee Brewers were a disaster. Everything was going wrong. They couldn't beat anybody. And even just last week, still having trouble with the likes of the Pirates and the Reds. But yet, by the time this show airs, the Brewers, your Milwaukee Brewers, could have clinched a playoff spot in this year's 2018 playoffs. And who knows, they may yet be able to track down the Chicago Cubs and play in a playoff series. If that's not the case, and that's still a tall task, the Brewers will be in the wild card, and it looks like, there's still some things to get sorted out here too in these next few games, but it looks like the team that they just got done handling, and the Brewers handled the St. Louis Cardinals, Baseball City, USA, maybe. The Brewers handled the Cardinals, and they may invite those St. Louis Cardinals back to Miller Park next week for a one-game playoff series. Winner of that game then goes on to the regular playoffs. Brewers, though, still with the chance to win the division, and that would put them outside of that kind of a play-in game is what that really is, and put them in a regular division series. So, I was wrong about the Brewers. Seems like, unless they lose every game from here on out, and that doesn't seem possible because with the likes of Ryan Braun starting to heat up, and Jesus Aguilar still doing his thing, and eventual National League MVP Christian Yelich playing lights out right now. The Brewers are set for the playoffs, folks. And what that means is a fellow by the name of Nate Saverda gets to be on the show with us next week. So, Nate, I'll tag you down below. Make sure you check in with me. We'll give you time and dates for next week's show. But it's kind of a side conversation that happened. I told Nate if I was wrong, I'd have him on the show. So now, Nate, you're on the show next week. So we look forward to that. That'll be our Major League Baseball playoff preview, and that'll all start on the show next week. But for the remainder of this show, how about we talk about high school football? And as we do, I'm going to step aside here, and we're going to have a look at Beell Stadium. Gates won't open until 5:45 p.m. That's only going to happen 2 more times here in the regular season in 2018. and one of them is homecoming this week. And that's one of our live streams. It's actually the Zaleski Sports Show Game of the Week, and for last year at Beell Stadium, homecoming, definitely a Game of the Week. I don't think it'll be much of a game, perhaps, although these Tigers have surprised us. They're 6-0. That's a surprise, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. And then what's also been surprising about the Tigers is how they're winning. Now last week they went down to Rapids, kind of hung around in the first half, and then exploded and ran right past the Red Raiders down in Rapids. But the prior 2 weeks scuffled a little bit, still with wins. They're 6-0, but scuffled a little bit down in Kaukauna. Needed a 10-yard punt from the Ghosts in the back of their end zone to set up Mason Coffrin for the eventual game-winning field goal with zeros on the clock. And then 2 weeks ago, right here at Beell, against Spash, both teams, multiple turnovers in the fourth quarter. It was a weird mess is what that game was. Still, though, your Marshfield Tigers are 6-0, homecoming this week, and live streams can be found at ZaleskiSportsShow.com, as always. And then we've also got another special happening here at Beell Stadium. So again, I mentioned 2 regular season weeks left at Beell, one here for the Marshfield Tigers on Friday, and then on Saturday, the Spencer Columbus Rockets welcome in Cadott, and it's the Columbus homecoming. They're going to play a Saturday game here. That is also a Zaleski Sports Show Game of the Week, version 2.0, and you can catch that game live too. And then it's just a really cool event. You know, back to when I was a kid, I lived just right down the street here, and Columbus afternoon football games were always fun. Right, I got to come out here as a kid, watch the big kids in high school play football here at Beell with the Tigers. Went home, went to bed, got up, heard the Columbus band playing, walked back down, and watched football again on a Saturday afternoon. So that's all happening this weekend. Friday, football. Saturday, football. That's pretty cool stuff, guys. And then after that, we'll talk about playoffs here eventually, but we could extend the life of Beell Stadium for football, for varsity football, one more week. We'll see, though. We'll talk about that later. And other live stream games this week, Auburndale at Stratford, and Pittsville at Wild Rose. Pittsville Wild Rose, big game going on down there. Pittsville Panthers are having a season, folks. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the Pittsville Panthers, do that in person over in Wild Rose, or the drive's a bit too long, or you just want to kind of check in and validate what I'm telling you about these Pittsville Panthers. That game is live. So that's our live stream schedule. 4 football games, 3 on Friday, and 1 on Saturday. So how about that? And then you get to walk in here at Beell, again, twice this weekend, and check that out. Of course, gates will open a little bit sooner than 5:45 p.m. on Saturday, again, when the Spencer Columbus Rockets take on Cadott here for the Columbus Catholic homecoming game. All right, so we had another great weekend of voting. Guys, our 3 to see is something else, and it wouldn't be anything without your support. What we do is we take the 4 best highlights from sports all across the place. We even had an NFL highlight this past weekend. We put that in the mix, and then we take our top 3 vote getters, and we count them down. And a friend of mine, a friend of yours, been on the show before, he's going to count them down for you right now.
It's time for the Zaleski Sports Show 3 to see. Number 3 is Stephen Buchanan.
The Loyal Greyhounds have won 4 straight and are now 5-1, due in part to the play of Stephen Buchanan. Buchanan not only runs for touchdowns, he brings the hit stick on special teams. Wave your towels and give a heart for Stephen.
I'm in the house.
Number 2 is the Marshfield Tiger defense.
Marshfield Tiger fans have been telling me about their defense all season. The Tigers defense only gives up 13 points per game and has carried the number 8 defense to a perfect 6-0 start. Okay, Tiger fans, here's a good opportunity to rally behind your team and your defense with the wow face.
Yeah, Bentley!
I'm Bentley Schwannebeck-Osterman, and I'm in the house.
And number 1 on the 3 to see was me, Jared Mandel.
We get this party started with the Spencer Columbus Rockets and their quarterback, Jared Mandel. Mandel had 4 touchdowns and a defensive interception as the number 3 ranked Rockets blasted their way past Colby 41-0. Give the thumbs up for Jared.
I'm in the house.
Thanks for watching the Zaleski Sports Show.
All right, thanks, Jared, and appreciate you being in the house again. It's always fun, guys. These kids play their butts off. We're just out here having fun. They're doing all the work. We get to put them in the highlight house, and then they get to go on the 3 to see. You all vote for them, and then we pick the best one, and that one's on the show every single week. So we appreciate everybody's participation and keeping this tradition going. So again, I mentioned the live streams. We got 4 football games: Marshfield, Spencer Columbus, Stratford, Wild Rose, all hosting games, and they'll take on Pittsville, Auburndale, Cadott, and Wausau West. So that's all going to happen this weekend. Catch all the games live over at ZaleskiSportsShow.com. Just click on Live Sports. And we've also got highlights coming on Thursday night from all over the place. The Spash Pink game. They're going to play volleyball over in Spash. You can catch those highlights on Zaleski Sports Show Stevens Point. And Neilsville is going to play volleyball. Those highlights on Zaleski Sports Neilsville Thursday night. And then a doubleheader Thursday night on Zaleski Sports Show, our regular channel. You can check out Wisconsin Valley Lutheran taking on Columbus Catholic Dons in soccer. And then we're going to head over from the Mosney area back to Stratford. And we're going to watch the Stratford Tigers, the #1 ranked, undefeated, maybe the best team in the whole state, any division. Stratford Tigers take on the Amherst Falcons. Catch both of those highlights later on Thursday night. So big weekend of sports coming up. And I didn't even mention we've got the UW Stevens Point Pink game football going on Saturday as the Pointers start conference play. I'm going to be busy. And you're going to be busy watching, we know it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So appreciate you tuning in. Again, you can check us out on Facebook and any of the Zaleski Sports Show networks, Twitter at Zaleski Sports, ZaleskiSportsShow.com, and all that stuff. So for Rachel, I'm Jason. Thanks for watching. Go Sports.